Hello everyone, welcome back. And in this tutorial, we're going to do a short video on how to create the inventory screen. So it's quite simple, but let's get started. So what we're going to do, we're going to jump into our sandbox. Here we have our character. So what we want to do, we want to switch to 2D. So we can see our HUD. Zoom all the way out. So what we want to do, we want to add a canvas. So we're going to right click on the scene, game object, UI, create a canvas, and we can call this inventory. And we want to create an empty. So right click again, create empty, and this will be our inventory manager. This is what we're going to attach the script to. So in our inventory, we want to have a background. So we're going to right click, go to UI, and we're going to do a panel. Let's go back to our canvas. We want to make sure that our canvas scales with the screen, and we want to make sure we have the right dimension, 1080. This will be our background. So this is where we're gonna add whatever background you design for your inventory. The best way to do it is to do it through Photoshop. Like you can go and either get a free inventory system template, or you can design your own. You want to be creative. So here we have a background. This is where you'll actually click on that little circle, and you would search for what you use. So for myself, I'll use that. So you can see that it's stretched out. So what you want to do is you want to set it to native size, and let's center that. Let's move it up. Okay, right there. Preserve aspect. And we want to make sure that it's like that. So that's turned up. So you can always resize the inventory, the background, depends on how you design it. If you want to be a bit bigger, you can. But let's leave it where it is. So if I start the game, this is how it will look. So let's go back out. So I want to attach a script to this section. So we can add component script. there thing here for new script now? Alright, so in our sandbox, let's put the script here. And let's call this sample inventory. Let's open that up. So as with all the other menus that we did so far, we're going to need somewhere to place the inventory game object. And I want to make sure that the game is also paused when you select inventory. What you can always do also, you can open up your pause menu and you can copy everything that's in the pause menu. And once you copy it, you can highlight these two blocks and you can paste it in. So within your pause menu here, you won't need most of this. So you'll only need that section and that section. You'll serialize, you can delete that. Load game variables, you can delete that. And you'll just end up with this section. You can delete your pause, resume. No, so you'll need your pause and resume. You can remove save game, load game, and everything else. You can strip it all the way down so that it looks just like this. And then you add your different variables. So joystick button 6 will be your back button. 7 is your start button. The back button is just the small button that's opposite to that. So that will bring up your inventory. So you'll have your resume game and pause game as normal. That's what you will control. So when your game is paused, it will set the inventory to active and you can see what's in your inventory. When you press the button again, it will disable it and resume your game. So let's save this and give it a try. So on your inventory manager, we're gonna add a component, add a script, and we're gonna look for script that we just created, sample inventory. So here we're gonna grab our inventory game object, we're gonna place it there, and we're gonna make sure that it's disabled. So let's start our game and press the back button. Move it around, press the back button. There, the game is paused. We have our inventory up. Press the pause button again. I mean the inventory button that was assigned, which is your back button. And there you have it. Alright. So on your background, let's re-enable this. Let's zoom in. So in these grids, these are where you can add different items that will appear on the screen when you're playing the game. And to add these, you normally go in background, you right click UI, and you'll choose image, and you get a small box. And this is where you will go up and resize the box. I think let's try 60 by 60. And whatever item you want to appear in the game, you can put it in this box. So let's just say you want a key. So let's see what were we using. All right. So let's remove this and let's add a raw image. So raw image you can actually use a image file that's not been converted to a sprite. And if we go to main menu here, inventory. So that will allow you to drag anything and place it within there. And then you can have game logic for when you collect something, it enables, so it change from false to true, just as how you can enable this menu when you press the start button. But this will actually be done in the player controller script itself. So if I go to player and here, so normally we were using the key object in these to make sure that when a blue key is collected, it shows in the HUD. But we'll actually do this logic in the inventory. So whenever time the key is collected, it appears in the inventory. So let's do an example here. So let's name this blue key. So if we go back to our player and we scroll down, we have blue key access. We can actually drag blue key. We can place it there and make sure that it's disabled by default so that it doesn't show up in inventory whenever time you open it. So let's add back our inventory screen and let's start our game. I don't think we actually place any keys in the sandbox. Alright, so let's go to 2D. We can double click the player to go down there. And let's place a key. So let's go to our main game. That's inventory menu. Alright, so let's place a blue key there. Let's start our game. If you open our inventory, there's nothing in it. But if we should collect this blue key, it appears in our inventory because clicking the blue key actually switch the inactive to an active, and that was normally set in our player inventory script. If I open it up and we scroll down to where it checks for a key, where does it checks for a key? Right here. show if key is picked up, and this is where it does its logic and add the +1 to the key. This is where we add in if blue key is greater than 0, then blue axis set to active is true. So this will allow the key to appear in our inventory. And if we go up further, we see where we create our game object for our key. So scroll down to pick up. So under our HUD, we have the public game object we create for our access keys. And doing that allows these to appear. You see blue access key, red access key, yellow access key, and that's where you'll place those keys. And further down in the game, when we're doing things like upgrading our health, and we can see our health is set at 100. So we'll collect items that will add value onto health and stamina and recover speed and everything. So your character will be able to run longer and so forth. So we'll add those along in this same section. So whenever time you collect like a health upgrade and everything, whether it's level 1 upgrade, level 2 upgrade, it will show up in our inventory. Yes, so that will conclude our lesson today for our inventory system. If you have any questions, feel free to drop it in the comments, like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.